So as we can see, I've got my blank all cut out here, the basic shape. What I'll do now is I'll probably take it to the grinder and grind off that little spot up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the forge. And my knives are all rustic knives, meaning that I don't make shiny knives. What I will do is I'll take my ball, I'll heat it up red hot, and I'll get my ball peen in here on both sides, and I will peen up around this area, actually almost all this area. And then when I put the bevels and make the blade, what I'll have is a nice peened look. That'll give it a really nice rustic look. Most of this will be black once it comes out of the forge, and the quench gives it a really nice rustic look. So let me get this thing in the forge, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done with that. So my shape is cut out. I'm ready to throw it in the forge now. We're gonna do, what I'll do is I'll get it red hot and let it cool. Some guys do that 2-3 times, called thermocycling. I usually only do it once. I get the steel soft enough to where I can put my bevels on it and be able to work the handle a little bit easier. So that's where we're at right now. The shape is a pretty good one. As you can see, I have that notch. Camera focus here. See, I have that notch in there. I will accentuate that a little bit with a hand file once it's softer. So we're ready to start putting some hammer marks in this. So what I'll do is I'll come through with the ball peen end, and I'll just give it some wraps like so. And you have to flip it due to the fact that you're distressing this metal a bit, and you are causing it to be somewhat no longer flat. So the best way to do this is to give it a couple good ones on each side, like so. You can see the hammer marks, and then put it back in the forge. You don't want to beat the metal when it's gray like that too much, as you can cause stress fractures. Okay, so I let it cool down. You can see the hammer marks that I put in here with the ball peen. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my small belt sander here, and I've got a plunge guard that I just made out of some mild steel. They sell them, they make them, out of titanium and whatever, so they don't wear a bit. Mine's a little more consumable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to, at about a 35, 45 degree angle, I am just going to run this along both sides till I get a nice bevel on each side. Usually I got some thicker saw blades. Sometimes what I'll do is I will beat the bevels in, but that in turn alters the shape a bit as you're stretching the metal and whatnot. So this one's a thinner blade, so I'm just going to take the time to put the bevels on with the grinder. So as you can see, these bevels turned out pretty good so far. This is just the before the heat treat. Knife still needs to be quenched. Got a pretty good bevel on it now, edge. So what I always do is I try to do the heat quench, and then I will do the finished edge after. What I'll do now is I'll start making my handle while this metal's soft. It'll be a hidden tang. So that's where we're at as of right now. Okay, I got my tang thinned out a bit. I've got a chunk of elk antler that I blackened in the forge, and then I dip in oil, my quench oil, so as to give it a charred look, but the oil helps keep it moist, I guess, so it doesn't crack. It helps cool it and keeps it from cracking. This is a guard for a knife, much like it's actually from this dagger kit, cheap eBay kit, stainless. I don't see it holding much of a blade, but I figured I could steal this guard instead of having to make one by hand to fit on this knife. So the guard will slide up like so. I got a small notch on there that I will. So here we are, all fit up. Knife is ready to go into the forge to be heat treated, quenched, and then handle will be ready to go on. So a little change of plans. Instead of using the brass guard, I have a chunk of 45 cubic inch 75 or 750 cc WLA cooling fin that snapped off my. So change of plans. I will not be using the brass guard. I didn't like it the way it fit. I do have a chunk of cooling fin that broke off my WLA project. This is off a 45 cubic inch motor from 1942-ish. I don't know exactly when the cylinders were made, but it's of that era. I think it's going to give this buoy a really neat look with the Elk Handle. So time for heat treat, and we'll go from there.